As Russia has massed over 100,000 troops near the border with Ukraine, Western officials are still scrambling to find a diplomatic off-ramp from the crisis, while bracing for the worst. U.S. officials believe Russian President Vladimir Putin remains undecided on whether to go to war, but that ultimately it will be Putin alone who decides whether or not to begin a renewed attack on Ukraine. Senior U.S. officials have questioned if even their counterparts in negotiations are privy to Putin's thought process. While Russia has for decades chafed against NATO's eastward expansion, Putin appears to have identified a potential opening, when the West is beset by its own crises and divisions, and Russia's financial resilience seems at an all-time high, to force a change in Europe's post-Cold War security order. But it is not a cost-free gambit, risking heavy casualties, international isolation, and severe economic reprisals from the West. Just what issues are likely factoring into Putin's calculus? First, and likely weighing against an attack, is the question of casualties. Recent Russian military campaigns in Georgia, Ukraine, and Syria have relied heavily on airstrikes, military contractors, and a veneer of plausible deniability to keep costs low and assuage public concerns about troop losses. A major assault on Ukraine, many analysts fear, would do away with this low-cost model of warfare. Russia is expected to leverage its advantages in the air, pounding Ukrainian targets and demoralizing its troops before sending in Russian ground forces. But while the Russian military has the upper hand in terms of sheer troop numbers and resources, the Ukrainian military has come a long way from the threadbare forces that Russian troops first encountered in the Donbass in 2014. This war would accumulate casualties for the Russians as well, said. Part of the reason behind Russia's decision to fight in Syria was its relatively low casualty rate when juxtaposed against a larger military mission that involved both Russia and allied forces. And this is kind of the way for the Russians to sell their involvement in Syria: minimal to non-existent casualties, maximum outcome. Ukraine is a different conflict. Since 2014, Ukraine has received billions of dollars in security assistance from the United States. The Western buildup of the Ukrainian military has focused on defensive capabilities that would blunt a potential Russian offensive and make life more difficult for the Kremlin.